What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to the Respawn, where I answer your questions. Today we're talking the case of the missing Hammond, Votekick option, and more. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. You can get a free audiobook to keep forever and support the channel by using the link down below. I listen to audiobooks every single day. That's not an exaggeration. I kind of got hooked on them a little while ago. They're really good. If you haven't tried it, you should. You can get a free audiobook. It's yours to keep forever, even if you decide to cancel the service, so you got nothing to lose with it. Today I'm recommending The Fold by Peter Clines. This is an awesome sci-fi book. I couldn't get enough of it. You can try out this one or any of the others in the massive library over at Audible. Again, check that link down below. Let's get to the questions. First up, could an ability that only becomes available after you get an elimination work in Overwatch? I don't think so, because it would be completely useless until you got that elimination. At least with Genji's dash, you can use it anytime you want, and getting that elimination just resets it, so that kind of works. If it only became available after the elimination, then it would be more of a something that's kind of referred to as a win more ability. Usually this is a card game term, but it would be a win more. So it would just help you kind of steamroll and snowball through the enemy team. I just don't think it would really be all that good. You can add more stuff like Genji's dash into the game where you have these extra effects after you get an elimination, but don't make it so you can only use it after that. Next up, if I had a chance to get an elimination on an enemy, but I have to sacrifice myself and just die because of it, is that worth it? It really depends on the situation. So if you're defending the second capture point on Hanamura, for example, getting that 1-for-1 trade is going to be good because it's going to take you a lot less time to get back to that defender point than the attacker is to run all the way back to that second point. So that sort of situation, yes, it's going to be good. Or if you know the enemy has an ultimate that's going to be really powerful. So if you're playing Genji or something and you take out that enemy Zenyatta right before he uses Transcendence and it allows your team to then follow up and win, yeah, that's good. But generally, a 1-for-1 trade is not something that you want to do. It's generally a bad thing, except under some of those circumstances that I've explained. Next up, why isn't Fara used all that much to help counter GOATs if she's good against most of the GOATs characters? The reason is because she just doesn't have enough of an impact. Even with a Pocket Mercy, she just can't do enough damage to get through all of the barriers, the armor, the extra healing, and just the massive amount of sustain that GOATs comp has. Yes, it kind of works a little bit, but for the most part, what's going to end up happening is the GOATs comp is just going to run over and just destroy the entire rest of your team, and then you're just going to be a Fara floating in the air, not really doing much. That's kind of what ended up happening, and while Fara still does get used every now and again, it's just not good enough, unfortunately. Next up, is there any way to reliably counter an EMP? There's a couple of different things. First thing is that there is kind of a cast time to EMP, and you can stun Sombra in between that time when she starts to activate it. So if you're really, really fast, you can block that EMP. But in general cases, you're not going to be able to do that because she's going to be invisible until right before she uses it. So what you want to do to try to counter it is just keep your team spread out. Make it so that she can only hit a couple of people, minimize the number of people that she can hit with that EMP. The other thing that you can do is preemptively use some of your abilities. So abilities like Rally and Transcendence don't get canceled when the EMP goes out. So you can use those abilities right before the EMP goes off, and your team still gets the benefit. Same thing with Storm Arrows and Torbjorn's Overload. They don't get canceled from it. However, stuff like Lucio's Sound Barrier does get completely erased, and also Symetra's Wall will get erased, and some of the other abilities in the game as well, the other ultimates, they get, just shut down by EMP. But if you have an ability that doesn't get deactivated, then you can preemptively use it, and that will help you kind of fight that off. Next up, do you think Mugha will be the next hero, or do you speculate it's going to be someone else? I'm not really sure. I mean, it seems like they're definitely building up that character. They did it with the story. They included a lot of information about the character, what he looks like, what kind of equipment he has, and it does seem like he appears to be that, that Talon unit that we see in the Archives event. and he just seems to have like a customized version of that. It's very possible he is going to be the next hero. If not, I think there's an extremely, I would say over a 90% chance that he does eventually become a character. Whether or not it's Hero 31, I don't know. Remember, we did get that other character teased from the end of the Archive event where Doomfist was talking to some Omnic in the Temple of Anubis map area. So that's another possibility. I'll probably make a video pretty soon talking about what potential characters are going to be Hero 31. Next up, who helps you in testing your videos? The ones that I do on Hollywood. So kind of a bonus to this question. Why do I always test on Hollywood? Because it has that long road and it just makes it easy to test things and to find distances and stuff. But who is it that actually helps me? It depends. I have a secondary account that I use if it's just like something really quick that I need to do. But if it's more complicated, then I have my Patreon supporters who will help me. So on my Discord, there's a VIP channel, and anytime I need to test something, I'll just post in that and say, hey guys, I need to test such and such or whatever, kind of, Mythbusters and all that sort of stuff. And then I'll say, who wants to help me? And I'll get them to join the game, and then we test it. So either I just test it myself if it's really quick, or I use my Patreon supporters if it's something more complicated. Next up, Hammond was recently disabled. Do you know why? Yes, it's because there was a serious bug with the character that was causing players' games to crash, so they had to disable him so that wouldn't happen. I believe this is only affecting Xbox players. They're working on a fix. Hopefully it should be resolved soon. I think this is only the third time they've ever had to temporarily disable a character. The first was Soldier 76 because one of his character skins wasn't working and it made him completely invisible. Like, not Sombra invisible, completely, totally invisible. Like, nobody could see him, and it was just way too strong of an advantage. And I think another one was a crash bug with Reinhardt, and then you have this one with Hammond. Next question, do you think a hero that can grab and throw other heroes would work in Overwatch? Yes, but it would have to have some kind of limitations. I don't think you should be able to like grab them and then just run around with them and throw them wherever you wanted, because that would be way too easy. You could, there are so many different maps where you could just grab a hero and then throw them off the map, and it would be so frustrating. Now, there could be things where, like, kind of imagine Reinhardt's charge, but instead of pinning them, you grab them and you throw them behind you, or something like that. So kind of what Bob does, where he knocks everybody up into the air, you could have something like that. Or you could have another thing where you can grab them and then you have like half a second or something to pick a direction and then throw them, right? Those sorts of things might work. I think people might still complain quite a bit about it though, because it's the whole crowd control thing and moving characters around, and players don't tend to like that. It might work, but it would have to be pretty limited. Does Baptiste being broken affect his cute spray achievement? Yes, a little bit. So his achievement reads that you have to amplify 2500 combined damage and healing without dying as Baptiste in quick or competitive play. You can still get the achievement by doing the damage, but you can't get the achievement from the healing because the healing just flat out doesn't work. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a problem with Baptiste's ultimate where it doesn't amplify healing at all, period. It's just totally broken in that regard. I have a previous video, you can go and check that out. It goes through and explains all of the different stuff, but it just doesn't work right now. But you can still get the achievement, you have to do it with damage though, until they fixed it anyways. What can I do to improve my aim on console? There's really not much difference from trying to improve your aim on PC. It just requires lots and lots of practice. Now, unfortunately, the main training map in Overwatch is garbage and it's not going to help you, but there are some really good custom maps in the workshop that you can use in order to help improve your aim. And just practice with those, it'll help with your reflexes and your tracking and all that sort of stuff. Now, there are going to be people who tell you, oh, just go to deathmatch. Don't listen to them because they have no idea what they're talking about. There's a system, a methodology of improving called crawl, walk, run. You have to start with something that's really simplistic, then you move to more complicated things, and then you continue moving and adding more complicated stuff. Simply put, in Overwatch, the crawl phase is those training maps, the walk phase is deathmatch, and the run phase is the actual competitive. So if you truly want to improve your aim, you have to spend a good amount of time in the crawl phase, those training maps, and then when you're ready, move into deathmatch. Now, if you find yourself still having problems in deathmatch, drop back down, practice a little bit more in those training maps, and then once you feel a little more proficient, try again in the deathmatch. And you just keep going back and forth until you feel like you're comfortable enough to move forward into the full competitive match. It just takes lots of practice. Next up, does Nano Boost work on Hanzo's Dragon Ultimate? No, it doesn't. Damage boosting used to work for the Hanzo ult, but it doesn't anymore. They changed it a little while back. None of that stuff will increase the damage of the dragon anymore. Next up, do you think Symetra's ultimate is viable? Kinda, sorta. See, the thing is, it's a decent ultimate for a support, and it's just a bad ultimate for a DPS. If you look at all of the other characters in the DPS category, they all have things that help them to get more eliminations. Even May's Blizzard and Sombra's EMP are still offensively used abilities that help you get more eliminations. But Symetra's big photon barrier wall doesn't really help you do that. It just keeps you and some of your team alive, which is not the role of a DPS. So when they moved her from the support category into DPS, they gave her the new ultimate, but it still is a support ultimate. So I think it would be fine if they moved it to a different or a new character, sure. Bottom line is this, the ult is fine for a support, but Symetra's a DPS, so she needs a DPS style ult. Next up, should Votekick, like in CSGO, be in Overwatch? I don't think it's a really good idea because, yeah, you're probably going to lose if you have a thrower on your team, but if you kick him off, it's going to be 5 versus 6, and you're still going to lose. So really, what they would need to do is add some sort of surrender option. So if you have someone that's deliberately being disruptive, if you know the match is going to be a loss anyways, then rather than kicking him off and waiting another 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes or whatever for the match to end, just end it right then and there and wait and start on the next one, right? In CSGO, Votekick can definitely work, and you can still have a decent chance to win because there's no barriers, there's no healing, there's none of that stuff. You can still win that match, even if you're down a player. But in Overwatch, that's not really the case. Like, it's 90% chance you're gonna lose if it's 5 versus 6. So I don't think it would be a good idea. That's going to be all the questions for this week. Thank you to everyone who submitted one. The next Respawn question card will go up this Saturday on the community tab of my YouTube channel. And remember, you can get a free audiobook from Audible. Anyone, it's yours to keep forever. The link for that is in the description of the video. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.